Well, Cass, it's the first time we've talked about this, that Liverpool defeat at Arsenal. What did you make of the celebrations? Were they too much from Arsenal?
No. I can't go down that road.
I know.
It's like, you don't... Spontaneous, reactions to things that happen in games. And do you go too far? Do I remember, my first success was with Millwall and we got promoted and we had a number of games. I remember Leeds away and we won 2-1. And it was a real euphoria. We didn't get promoted that night, but it was the road to getting where, obviously, to the end of that journey was to get to the Premier, or the old Division 1, which is the Premier League. So it's a process. So if you have to over-celebrate at that moment, you do. Do you forget about it pretty quickly? Yes, sometimes you look back and think, maybe we went a bit too hard there on, celebrating. But you can't help. Arsenal were... Just look at their performance. Mm-hmm. That performance stunk of a team, to me, that were absolutely desperate to beat Liverpool in every shape or form from the very first minute of the game. So all that emotion they put in during that game ended up coming out at the end of it as well, where they've got over the line and beat Liverpool. Does it mean they win the title? No. Big way to playing a big part towards the end of the season, though.
It's mad, though, isn't it? Because if you think back to that weekend before the game kicked off, we were talking about it. We're building it up like we all do. We ramp it up, don't we? Because it's the two of the big players right now in this title race taking on each other. We're talking about it's a must-win game. And they win the game and they're going to celebrate because we've ramped up that pressure, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, Jamie Carragher done a column, didn't he, on it about going too far. And look, when you're a multiple winner and you've won numerous trophies, I think it's slightly different. You get a little bit more used to it. I mean, Roy Keane would have that sort of outlook about, we won the league and next season it's start again. And that was the Liverpool way for years, that if you won the year before, it meant nothing going into the next season. It was all about proving you're good again. And I just didn't think it was too far, and I didn't have an issue with it. Arsenal are a new team that are developing. Yes, they've won the FA Cup and they'd like to think there's more. And with that comes elation in certain moments, beating a big rival. Liverpool were a big threat to them this season. Yeah, so not a problem with it at all.
It's one of those things, isn't it? When you're the opposition fan, let's say, you hate it. You don't want to see the opposition celebrating as much as they did. But if you're the fan, like Arsenal fans, you're going to love every moment of that because it was such a big win.
Okay. Would you say... Did Brentford over-celebrate beating Man City home and away last year?
Probably, yeah. And
played a big part in you staying up as well.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you? I mean, that for us was because, no one expected us to beat Man City, especially at Man City, and the manner of the way we did it. It was a late winner, let's not forget. So,
there's fans going to loads of games all over the country today, and if their journey's coming back and they've got a really big result, will they over-celebrate? They'll be overjoyed.
Indeed.
In that result. As a player, you can't help that sometimes. What I would say with the game as well, I mean, this cloning now of celebrations I do find a bit weird, as like, that's our celebration. I did find that a bit weird. I mean, I could sue Alan Shearer. I did the Alan Shearer before Alan Shearer did it.
Well, this is the thing. No one has a trademark of a celebration.
Well, I own it, and Alan's, I'm going to sue him. He nicked it off me.
I suppose the only one you can maybe bring up is Michael Buffer with his let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble. Yeah.
But, in the main...
How many Elvis, impersonators are there in the world?
I know.
Honestly, sometimes you do that. You like it.
It frustrates me when that's our celebration. No, it's not. It's a celebration. And if it is something that you think is copying, what's the saying? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. You take it as you should be flattered that someone's copying you.
How many kids wear their socks above their knees now? Playing football, the Terry Henrys. I mean, there's loads of things that people do in football and in many other sports.
Let's hear from another Arsenal fan. Talk TV broadcaster Piers Morgan joined Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour on The Breakfast Show yesterday. He had a few words for Mr. Jamie Carragher.
What have we got left? Well, we've got winning a match against the team at the top of the league and are playing brilliantly, and we dismantle them at the Emirates in front of absolutely buzzing crowd. And what are the crimes that are committed? Arteta runs down the touchline jubilantly, just like Mourinho did against Ferguson, just like Klopp has done a million times, just like every damn manager in the history of football has done when his team roll over the team at the top of the league and play that well. And then what happens? Our captain, Odegaard, takes a picture, has the audacity to take a picture of Stuart MacFarlane, the club photographer, an absolute club legend since the Amazon documentary. He takes a picture of him with the fans. And this apparently is the most heinous crime in world football history. Jamie Carragher, shut up.
Shut up. In terms of Liverpool, then, obviously disappointed to have lost that game. How vital is it for them to get back to winning ways quickly?
Well, of course. We talked about Man City earlier, so yes, it's vital. They got Burnley at home. It looks from the outside the perfect opposition to bounce back from. And, Liverpool made two really big mistakes in the game. The Virgil van Dijk and obviously Alisson in goal, that one at 1-1 was a massive moment. I don't think the keeper carries himself in any glory there at all. He had a pretty poor afternoon. He's a terrific goalkeeper, Alisson. It was probably his poorest game in a Liverpool shirt. Bounce back time. And Liverpool have got a lot of good players. So can they get back and win, do 5 or 6 wins on the spin now? It's their challenge. And it felt like it was the performance from the very start. Arsenal dominated in every area of the pitch immediately. And Liverpool never really got going, even though they scored just before half-time. That got them to 1-1. Don't know how, but they did. They got there. And after that, it deserved winners, Arsenal. Move on. You have defeat sometimes, a bad day of the office, whatever way we want to frame it up at. That was Liverpool last Sunday.
Well, it's only their second loss. It's been an incredible season. And as Jurgen Klopp said afterwards, he said the defeat showed Liverpool were human.
Yeah.
Which I suppose it does.
Do you know what? It's still in Liverpool's hands.
Yeah. They
can decide their title by what they do. They can win it. It's not in Man City's hands. It's in Liverpool's hands, as well. They've still got... They win their games they need to. They can win the league.
Well, what is it? Is it March the 9th when they play City?
Yeah, City at home. It's a tough call. I think City are firm favourites. And I think Liverpool probably slightly next. I don't know. I don't think Arsenal are ready to win the league. I still think there's been a massive improvement in lots of areas of Arsenal, but I don't think they're ready to win the league.
Well, how far off are they then? If you're saying they're not ready yet.
If you said to me now what the gap between City and Arsenal would be by the end of the season, I'd probably say somewhere between 6 and 10. They'll finish off of them.
Right, okay.
That's how I see it. But
are you talking in terms of personnel? How far off are they from being, actually winning the title, let's say? In terms of, do they need to strengthen... Is it a forward? Was that going to be the difference?
I think it's a viable option, yeah. I think there's lots of good players still in that position. I think Arsenal's style of play cost them more in the last month, more than having a centre forward. I didn't think that was the only issue because they were They have to, at their very best, Arsenal have to get the ball to Martinelli and Saka really quickly. And when it gets there quicker, they get in better positions that enable them to either skip past defenders or cut inside. When they do it quick, Arsenal are a really good side. I think in recent weeks they've been slowed down by the opposition slightly and they've stopped their wingers being as good as they can be. Last weekend was slightly different because Martinelli skipped past Trent a number of times in the game and likewise Saka on the other side. So it's they're a really good side. I just don't think they're at the level of what Man City are.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.